Check, check, check. Microphone check. Welcome. We are glad you're here, and we are going to deliver the best cyber news briefing that we've ever done, in my humble opinion, of course. Hey, do you guys like the new microphone cover? Isn't that pretty cool? Shout out to John and Ashley for making that happen. Hey, I know you're probably wondering, why are we going live at 10? Normally we go at 11. Well, we're changing things up a little bit. We're adding some new viewers that are joining us this week. And as always, we are grateful for you liking our briefing and sharing it with friends, leaving comments. That helps too. Hey, I know what you're also wondering. Where the heck were you guys last week? I got some messages, people asking, where the heck were you? Well, it's important to have a healthy work-life balance. It's really critical, especially in this cyber war. There's a lot of bad guys out there, and from time to time, SecurityMetrics, they allow me out of the cage that is the Security Operations Center and take a little break, and that's what I did last week. So healthy work-life balance for me is finding things I'm passionate about that are outside of cybersecurity, and that is, of course, paleontology. I got to spend a week with the Natural History Museum doing this kind of work. It's so fascinating. I got to dig up a Gripposaurus, which is a duck-billed dinosaur. That's a big femur there you see in the photo. So if you want to learn more about dinosaurs, then follow me. But we're here to talk about cyber. We're here to talk about all the latest phishing, deepfakes, the scams, and oh my gosh, was there a lot this past week. We always like to highlight the top ones and the newest ones that are out there. And the biggest one that we want to talk about is this deepfake that happened this past week. It was with U.S. Senator Ben Cardin, the Democrat out of Maryland. Now, he is the Democratic chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. That's a big, big committee, very important committee. Now, what's going on here is this guy named Dmytro Kuleba, I'm probably mispronouncing that. He is the former Ukrainian Minister of Foreign Affairs. He managed, or someone pretending to be him, managed to set up a Zoom meeting and then did a live audio video connection. And that's pretty fascinating that you could get that far and not have the checks and balances in place to know that this was a deep fake. But this happened. This is the kind of stuff as a business owner you really got to be aware of, especially when you're setting up calls with vendors or company or deepfake bad guys pretending to be a vendor and they're trying to get into your business. This is the kind of stuff you got to worry about. It only takes less than 30 seconds of audio and video to be able to simulate and create one of these deepfakes. So pretty dangerous stuff. Now, there was some other news happening in the world of phishing. This is a very complicated phishing. I'm going to do my best to try to explain it to you. It comes from us from Abnormal Security. Every time I hear the name Abnormal, they did a great job, by the way, in writing this up. A very complicated tactic. I'm going to try my best to explain it. But Abby Normal, it always reminds me of Young Frankenstein. Abby Normal brain. But here's the deal. It's called URL rewriting. It's a security measure. It's used most often by these email security platforms. You actually may have this in your business right now. It's the ability to scan and rewrite links in emails before they hit the inbox of your employees to ensure that the links are safe and that happens before the recipient clicks on them. Very effective at times. It's not perfect, though. It's not the best tool in the world. Sometimes it misses things. But here's the deal. What threat actors are doing is they are trying to evolve their tactics, and they figured out that they can exploit these defensive systems. And they do it by abusing the legit URL rewriting process. So again, it sounds complicated, doesn't it? What happens in this example is you see this email. This is one of those Microsoft informational alert type emails. It's been triggered, and there's a link. It says view the alert details. And this is exactly where the threat actor will try to rewrite the URL to then get the phishing to happen. Now, in other words, there's a lot of steps here. We don't have time to go over all the steps, but understand this. The first thing that happens in the process is some email account is compromised at your business. Then the phishing email is sent from the compromised account. And because that email, that message originates from the legit account, it passes through the email authentication process. And then this is where it goes off the rails. Hold on, folks. Hold on to your potatoes. This is going to be nuts. The URL is rewritten, and as it gets rewritten, then it will pass through the secure email gateway Very, very novel technique. In this example here, as the user would click on the informational alert from Microsoft, it would take you to this secure DocuSign link, and that's where the Microsoft, your M365 account gets hijacked using the OAuth exploit. And then from there, you have this little CAPTCHA thing that you have to click on from Cloudflare. Verify that you're a human. Again, very, very complex tactics here, but this is where it's really important as a business owner that you have a secure email gateway solution that can detect these rewritten URLs. Okay, are you confused? Are you tired? It's really a lot to explain. We are live, folks, and we are talking about the next thing, which is Akamai put out a report saying that the number one most abused brand and impersonated brand in phishing emails. In fact, 68% of them are coming from the financial services sector. What that means then for your business is you got to really teach your employees and educate them that if they're getting bombarded with phishing emails or emails that look legit from financial services areas, banks, for example, credit unions, that is the number one area right now that is being targeted for phishing emails. So alarming rate is what Akamai is describing it as. Okay, another thing going on, I absolutely love sharing the latest tactics with phishing. And you guys probably heard of this, but there are these services for bad guys. They're called phishing as a service platforms. And this one phishing as a service platform called Sniper DZ is now giving away their platform completely free to threat actors. So this is very helpful if you are an unskilled criminal and you want to spin up some sort of sophisticated phishing site and steal credentials. Well, what Sniper DZ is doing is they're giving away phishing templates completely free. Pretty novel stuff. It reminds me of like when you go to the App Store and the app is free, but yet they charge you all these extra fees if you want to get coins to play your games. Well, the bad guys are doing the similar thing now where you go on. Why do this? Why give away all these phishing templates for free? And what the thought process is, and this came from Unit 42 at Palo Alto, Unit 42 is saying perhaps Sniper DZ is collecting the victims' credentials that were stolen by the phishers who are using their platform. And that's how they're compensating for the cost of the service. Fascinating stuff, right? Okay, one more topic that we got to talk about, and this is insider threats. Every week, every threat briefing, man, we love to talk about insider threats. And the one that caught me this week was the GuruCul report. GuruCul is a cybersecurity vendor. They put out a report and they said that there's a lot of layers of complexity, and for a small business owner, a medium-sized business owner, enterprises even, their IT staff is overworked, burned out. No kidding, all right? We know that. And when they're burned out and they're tired and they don't have the right help to maintain the tools and implement their IT tools and cybersecurity tools, then they possibly can go rogue and become an insider. A lot of folks too, IT staff are just not trained and they don't have the expertise to manage cybersecurity. And that's one of the main reasons why we built Pulse, the SecurityMetrics Pulse platform. It's to help these overworked, overburdened IT staff members in finding the bad guys and especially insider threats too. So the GuruCul report, by the way, we included a link to that in our threat briefing links that we send out every week. It's 20 pages. I actually found it really interesting. It may be worth your time to read. There were a lot of good insights in there on the frequency of insider threats, how they're growing, what is driving these insider threats. Sorry, can't talk. But anyway, you can download that report. We'll include the link as well. Another report that came out this week, our friends at App Omni, they put out their annual state of SaaS security, 21 pages. It's a lot. We mentioned another SaaS security report about 2 weeks ago. They're all very similar in their content, and the big challenge that a lot of businesses have is they have employees that are going rogue. Sometimes they're doing it unintentionally. They're installing apps, they're uploading sensitive PII, sensitive customer data to these apps without even realizing it. Big challenge too is a lot of companies, a lot of employees, they want to use AI type tools, and these apps have AI, and if you don't realize what you're uploading to these apps, you can get in big trouble and not realize it. So again, just something to be aware of. This probably is a report that you may want to read if SaaS applies to your business and you're using a lot of apps in your business. Okay, another report that came out is the Nationwide insurance. Nationwide, they're all over selling insurance, cyber insurance. For small business, this is super confusing. A medium-sized business, even these large enterprises struggle with cyber insurance, do we have enough coverage? And a lot of folks have this misconception that, well, I have small business coverage. It's got a $20,000 rider, and that will cover my business. And the reality is, oftentimes, if an insurance company can get out of paying a claim, they'll do their best to get out of paying the claim. So the Nationwide report came out. We've included that report as well. It's indicating that a lot of small to mid-market businesses are fearful of cyber attacks. It's growing, and they have some really good information in there on what you can do. What I found interesting, I highlighted it on the screen here. Do you see the red arrows? There's not enough IT measures in place. The business owner, the data that they're collecting, not properly examined or secured. Again, all this kind of stuff is stuff that we do here at SecurityMetrics. So again, a good report to read if you're interested in that. And oh, by the way, all the links, everything we talk about here is available to you. You just have to subscribe to the weekly Threat Intel feed. This is our weekly curated list of stuff that impacts cybersecurity for our clients and non-clients as well. We include all the top phishing stuff in there. News that we can't even get to. We just don't have time in 30 minutes here. So every week, we do 2 minutes. We try to crack the eggnog early this year. That's right. We're cracking the eggnog. Gosh, I love that movie, that Christmas Vacation movie. So what is the eggnog? You guys are wondering? It is Cyber Awareness Month. Yeah, the best holiday. All right, well, maybe not the best holiday, but it is, in my humble opinion, the best holiday. It is one of the awesome periods in a business owner's life where you get a chance to recharge security awareness. And we thought we'd just share a couple things. And by the way, the folks that put this on, the Secure Our World, it's a national holiday, by the way. It's actually celebrated around the world. They do offer a lot of tips. And if you go to their site, Secure Our World, they give so many free tools to help re-energize your staff. And, we always recommend you take all of these different stories that we share every week, and maybe in your startup meetings, or maybe you post it in your break room, some of the newest phishing tactics. Just education is key. Awareness is key. So all this content is free, and they have content for not only securing your family and yourself, securing your business, securing your products. That's a big deal, right? A lot of these vendors out there putting out software with vulnerabilities. And then, of course, it is October Awareness Month. We are going to give a little giveaway here in just a minute, but hold on. There's more. Some of the tips they usually give the same tips every year because it's the same problems. We have the same issues every year. Recognizing and reporting phishing at your business, using strong passwords, turning on MFA, and updating software regularly. You do those 4 things, you have a great shot at stopping the bad guy. What else do we offer? Well, at SecurityMetrics, we have a podcast, the Jen Stone Experience. She is so dynamite with this. This latest episode is about families, cybersecurity. Just hits me in the heart because we're talking about families and protecting your kids from online predators and online safety. And it's an excellent episode. And you can find that on YouTube and the other channels that we have. And of course, what else is there? Well, for kids, my kids love video games. I don't know about your kids, but KnowBe4, they have a children's interactive cybersecurity activity kit. Tons of games on KnowBe4's site. We'll include that link in our weekly Threat Intel links. There is a report, though, that helps support the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and that came to us from the Cyber Alliance folks. They actually did a report. They do this report every year, and I'll tell you, this report is not light reading. 139 pages. Whew, you guys need to cut that book down. That's a chapter in a novel. But they did a lot of insights. What they're finding is that most security awareness training is very confusing. They're finding that 40% of it is online is confusing. They're also saying that a lot of people feel overwhelmed by security advice, by training. This is why we do this podcast. We try to make things as simple as possible. I try to take these phishing examples and break them down into 30-second sound bites. It's not easy, that's for sure. So interesting too, though, is millennials. They're saying that they have the highest ease of use when it comes to online security at 62%. I don't know about that. All right, here we go. Another thing going on is our shorts. We do these shorts every week. Again, we're talking about Cybersecurity Awareness Month. What can you do to teach your staff and educate your staff? We do these quick shorts, 60 seconds, latest phishing scams. So thank you to all of you that have watched our videos. We are so grateful on that. The latest video that we did was about key fobs, and we're going to do a little giveaway right now. If you're not familiar with key fob attacks, basically the threat actor comes and let's say you're getting out of your car or your parking lot at the store and they record your key fob. And this little bag actually is called a Faraday bag. And we're going to give these away. If you like and comment, share your favorite cybersecurity tip. You put your key fob in this little bag. And by the way, these are not from Temu, all right? These are some of the better bags out there. We're not sponsored by EDEC, by the way. I just am a fan of their products. I'm going to give a couple of these away, these EDC key fob Faraday bags. So just like, comment, and we'll choose a couple people to get these awesome Faraday bags to protect your car from being stolen. Oh, man. So there you have it, folks. Cybersecurity Awareness Month. There's a lot of other options, too. And I mentioned this in the last briefing, but what keeps us in the Security Operations Center up at night? And one of the things are these not being educated, just not even being aware of how you secure data security. And for that, we have SecurityMetrics Academy, completely free, folks. And it is awesome. Oh my gosh, the amount of content and helpful things delivered to you and your staff. You could sign up at SecurityMetrics Academy on our site and check out all the courses completely free. Okay, where are we this week? Well, SecurityMetrics, we are in Europe. If you want to visit, we're giving away a free flight to Barcelona. I'm just kidding. We're not giving away a free flight. But we are there. We would love to see you. Stop on by our booth at PCI Europe in Barcelona, Spain. We only got one more day there, folks. So if you want to get your PCI questions answered, the whole team is there. Gary's there. Brad is there. I think JB is there. But a lot of our top-notch experts in the field of PCI are there. Okay, so every week we try to summarize and highlight the top vulnerabilities and patches that have come out in the past week. There's always a lot. We're going to travel the galaxy. We've got a big galaxy to travel. And by the way, last week there were a lot of vulnerabilities. We didn't talk about them because we didn't have a show, but I do need to highlight one of them, and that is the Draytech router issues. By the way, a lot of small businesses, medium businesses, they own or they use these routers, specifically the models 3910, 3912. Very, very critical vulnerabilities that got patched. There's apparently over 1 million of these routers existing right now. So get on it if you got it. Oh, what else is there? Well, Brian Krebs all over it. You know it's important when Brian Krebs does a story about Patch Tuesday in October. And the one that came out this week, we're talking about Microsoft's Patch Tuesday, 117 security holes in Windows. Adobe as well. Mac OS also had a bunch of patches out there. So in the Microsoft Galaxy, the Patch Tuesday, 118 flaws, 50 days. The one that you'll also need to be aware of is Windows 11. If you're running Windows 11 in your environment, you got to get on top of that. If you're running Windows Server 2022, 2019, 2016, 2012, and you got to get on updating that as well. There is a new phishing as a service. The bad guys now are going after, or they've always been going after. This is called Mamba, two-factor bypass service that bad guys can use. What I found interesting about Mamba is the price that the bad guys are charging to use it. Their value price now, $250 a month. That's it. Let that sink in, folks. Imagine that. A threat actor only needs to pay $250 a month to use this phishing as a service to target your M365 environment. And also, by the way, Windows 11, 22, H2 Home, and Pro editions, the Pro Education version, the Pro for Workstations, and the SE editions are all being end of life. You gotta think about upgrading at this point. October 2024 is the last update. In the galaxy of Adobe, can you say Adobe? Like Pee Wee Herman, right? A lot of updates there. Get on top of that. A lot of other updates, too. Android put out patches this week. Ivanti had 3.0 days. Okta reminding folks about their classic product line having a newly patched vulnerability. Qualcomm also in the news about a 0-day potentially, and the Mac OS updates. So there you have it. Healthcare also in the news. The folks at HCS or HC3, they put out an update. If you are in the healthcare sector, you probably need to read about Trinity ransomware attacks. May 2024, when it was first seen. Interesting stuff. They have the IOCs, the indicators of compromise. So if you're in the healthcare sector, you need to know about these IOCs. We've included the link as well. So, without any further ado, my favorite part of the briefing every week, besides the gaslighting segment, which is coming up, is case studies. There are some case studies out there you need to be aware of, and the case studies come to us from our threat analysts here in the SOC. Charles, if you're on the line here, if you can help open up your mic. Talk to us about what happened here and how you found this. Charles, by the way, is our lead threat analyst. He's fantastic at what he does. He helps us run our SecurityMetrics Pulse platform, which is inexpensive SOC services for small to medium-sized businesses. Charles, help me out.
Yeah, of course. So this was one of the cases that we found. So when we're looking at these traffic flows, we may see a sudden increase in something on SSH ports. So normally that's not a cause for concern. Maybe somebody's just connecting and performing business operations. But when we look further, we drill down and we see 779 unique IP addresses connecting to a single port, and that raises a lot of flags for us. So we look further, we see that these are brute force attempts attempting to log into the SSH server, and we notify the client and they can take action against this. So some of these actions are blocking IPs that attempt too many logins. There are automated programs such as fail to ban that will detect IPs making way too many logins and block those, or disabling password logins entirely and going only with RSA key logins.
Okay. Can you take a moment and show our audience where this happens in the kill chain potentially? Potentially.
Yeah, so this is just a very basic, these threat actors are looking for the low-hanging fruit. They're just spamming out thousands of requests. It's a very low risk, just basic reconnaissance that they're performing.
Yeah. Thank you, Charles. And as always, we're glad you and Emily and the entire team are out there threat hunting. This is where we are able to look at a client's shopping cart, their online shopping cart, and look for malicious activity, potentially malicious activity. In this example here, we did a scan of a client. The card data was transmitted to multiple locations. Now, if you're familiar with PCI requirements, you know that you can't do that, folks. It's a PCI violation. It's always best to send the card data only once during a transaction. And if the credit card data is sent more than once, you could potentially open yourself up to more exposure, and that's something that you don't want to have. So this is called Shopping Cart Monitor. And we also have another example of where this happens in the kill chain. This is really around exploitation, potentially, where the threat actor is looking for vulnerabilities. They're looking for areas of exploitation in the cardholder environment, and they're taking advantage of it. One more shopping cart use case to share with you. We're talking about an ad network here. We did a scan. We found ads on the payment page. Now, a lot of times business owners will say, well, I need the ads. I have to have the ads in there, but you got to be really careful with these ads. And if you're allowing a lot of third parties onto your shopping cart platform, a lot of JavaScript, you don't know if that JavaScript is secure, that's where things can get nutty. So minimizing the use of third-party scripts is always a great best practice, especially in the checkout process. So there you have it. Now, my second favorite segment is the gaslighting segment. It's our chance to let out some of the pent-up aggression and energy that happens from the lunacy of the cybersecurity news that's out there. Kaspersky back in the news because, if you're not aware, June 20th, a ban was announced on all sales and software updates from Kaspersky. So what Kaspersky started doing is they sent out this email, but it failed to inform the users that their use of Kaspersky would be deleted and they would be replaced with Ultra AV. Now, some people didn't even hear about the message. They didn't even know that it was going to happen. So it automatically, Kaspersky got replaced with Ultra AV. And that's one of those things that would drive you nuts. If you're a business owner and you're just trying to keep the lights on and the doors open and you miss this message from Kaspersky, it would drive you nuts. Then to make things even nuttier, Google Play Store then just automatically banned it. And, Kaspersky is saying, man, we operate globally. It's not just the United States, but that's not the way Google Play Store works. So Google Play removed Kaspersky. And then, of course, forcing users to just automatically have to use Ultra AV. Again, a lot of other things going on here behind the scenes. A very short timeline. A lot of these employees at Kaspersky in the United States, they're looking for new jobs right now. And then if you're a business owner, you have had no time really to vet the new vendor of Ultra AV. Is this something you want in your environment or not? It's just forced upon you. So, again, a lot of controversy here. Gaslighting is why we're talking about it. And by the way, Kaspersky did a nice job of trying to explain how to install, how to update Kaspersky apps for Android if your business chooses to still use it. So, okay, another thing going on right now is, and I want to shout out to Charles for sending this over, is the ban on connected vehicles using Chinese and Russian technology. The Department of Commerce saying they're proposing a ban of any Russian and Chinese tech in cars starting with model year 2027. So interesting stuff, folks. I mean, you're talking about here foreign adversaries. Could they potentially take advantage of taking over your car? I don't know if I want that, right? I'm driving down the road and all of a sudden the self-driving on my car, it just takes me on a wrong turn, right? But, there's other things going on too with vulnerabilities in cars. And this is a big deal right now. Automotive APIs, they're raging in the news. It's not just Kia cars that can be opened via the license plate. It's, full takeover of accounts for Hyundai, Genesis, Nissan, Honda, Infiniti, Acura. It keeps going on and on. The folks that wrote this up, and oh man, I'm missing the thing here. There it is right here. SamCurry.net did a whole story about this. He featured all these vulnerabilities in cars. I did not know that also the California passed that law about legalizing digital license plates, and I did not know how easy it was to hack a digital license plate. Sam Curry did an awesome job explaining how that can happen and how you can easily take over a digital license plate. That's the future, folks. Okay, got a couple more minutes here, and then we're out. Telegram is now going to share their user information with law enforcement. That's a shift in policy. And if you recall, last month, the CEO of Telegram got arrested. So a lot of pressure on Telegram right now to comply with law enforcements around the world. So there were a couple breaches in the news, and every week we talk about these breaches. The one breach that got me was ADT. They are on my list right now. The second breach they've had now in 2 months, hacked via stolen credentials. This is a big problem with breaches, and there's a lot of reasons why if you get breached and then you don't do the right cleanup afterwards, the right incident response, or you don't change passwords, not just for employees, but any third-party vendors, a lot of those things then can come back to bite you as the bad guy makes a second entrance into your business and finds that open doorway that you forgot to close down. So that's happening. And by the way, ADT is on our garbage list right now for all the breaches they keep having. Allegedly keep happening. American Water Supply was in the news. They are one of the biggest water suppliers in the U.S., 14 million customers. They apparently had a breach they discovered on October 3rd, unauthorized activity. We don't have a lot of attribution yet on who the bad guy is, but bad guys, they love attacking critical infrastructure, electrical, water, and so on. They do it for a variety of reasons. Okay, Lego. Oh, man. You guys know I love Lego, right? I'm a Lego fiend. They got hacked. Apparently, their store was breached. And you see what happens here. The homepage with an image of golden coins bearing the company logo with a banner. The Lego coin has officially been released. Crypto. Secret rewards. I was crying. Folks, I was crying when Lego got breached. All right. The other thing happening is MoneyGram, and these guys are something else too. MoneyGram, personal info. This is a big, important area. We got a lot of people sending MoneyGrams every month. Sometime between September 20th and 22nd, they discovered threat actor. We don't have attribution. They have a lot of data they collect when they do a MoneyGram. Names, addresses, national ID numbers, government issued IDs, all that stuff. But you know what I thought was funny? Again, not only are you getting 2 years of free identity monitoring services, I probably have 100 years now. All of you probably have 100 years of identity monitoring. The deal is, I went to the website for MoneyGram, the announcement, the incident notice, and it didn't even work. They can't even get their incident response notification page to work. I took a wrong turn. No, I didn't take a wrong turn. You just led me astray. That's what's going on here. All right, press the magic button. The last part of our threat briefing is the other cyber news. The Perfectil malware affecting Linux servers. By the way, you got a patch. Look for CVE 2021 4043. You got to patch that, folks, if you're using Linux. The storing RSA private keys and DNS text records. What? I know. This is plausible deniability. We don't even have time to really go into this one, but definitely read about DKIM being frauded. Enfocus put out a report about GorillaBot, 300,000. This is a new variant of Mariah, and we talked about Mariah years and years now. We've been talking about this. 300,000 attacks. Oh, man. You got to improve your DDoS defenses, folks. All right, and I think the last couple stories here is about Marco Polo. Marco Polo! Yeah, the Recorded Future talking about these bad guys and how they are just rapid progress, impressive, alarming operations, a growing empire, 50 unique different malware payloads. These guys, we're going to talk a lot more about Marco Polo here shortly. And of course, Discord is blocked in Russia. Discord's always fascinating because when you're talking about Russian army, they need a tool. They need a tool to communicate. They're using Discord, but all these images are being put out there where the Ukrainian army is able to find these guys and they're able to track them down where they're located at because they're using Discord. And the hacker about Putin's birthday. I love cyber war trends, by the way. The hacker disrupting Russian state TV. Yeah, interesting how they attack on holidays and birthdays. Putin's birthday. If you have a gamer in your family, parents, you got to remind your kids, cheating is bad, okay? All right? Using these cheating tools, and that is how the bad guy is getting malware into your home because your kids are, using these cheating script engines. Fascinating stuff. And as always, the last part of our news is AI news. There's some AI stuff out there that caught our eye. Amazon, they're using AI-powered shopping guides. Oh, great. That's just what I wanted to hear on Amazon Prime Day. My wife is using these AI-powered guides to get us stuff we don't need. I'm just kidding, honey. All right. What else is there? Emotional support? What? Using AI for emotional support? It's better than a pet? I can't believe that, folks. And then how to say no to our AI overlords. That's a New York Times story. It's behind a paywall. You might not be able to get it. But it is I laughed at that read, saying no to our AI overlords. And a big shout out to Rich on our team here for sending this over about Harvard. Harvard students are using these smart glasses from Ray-Ban and Meta, and they're using it to get personal information on you. How do they even do that? That's crazy. So there you have it, folks. That is our briefing for the week. By the way, we are giving away these awesome Faraday bags for your key fobs for your car. If you would like one, please leave a comment. Share your favorite tip. That's the kind of stuff that we love to hear. We love interacting with you. And as always, on behalf of everyone here at SecurityMetrics, we are glad you joined us. Thank you so much, and have a great week. We will see you next week with another fun threat briefing.